All right, so we are on Unit 6, Lesson 2, which are similar polygons. Now we need to figure out how do we figure out if two polygons are similar? Now notice that I said similar and not the same because we need to prove that polygons are similar, not that they're the same. Okay? So here, similar polygons, it says corresponding angles are congruent and corresponding sides are proportional. Now, proportional does not mean the same, okay? So we need to prove that they're proportional. So look down here at the example. It says AB, here we've got side AB is equal to 3. And then over here on this polygon, AB is going to be the same as E, or going to be proportionate to EF. So AB is 3 and EF is 4. So it has a proportion of 3/4. Now remember, all of the sides have to equal 3/4 together for these two polygons to be similar. So BC is 3 and FG is 4. So their proportion is also 3/4. Now here it says CD is 3 and GH is 4. So their proportion is also 3/4. And last, AD is 3 and HE is 4, and their proportion is 3/4. Since they all have the same proportions, we can now say that both of these polygons are similar. Now let's look at their angles, because their angles also have to be congruent. So angle B is congruent to angle F, C is congruent to G, D is congruent to H, and A is congruent to E. They're all congruent, then we can say that these two polygons are similar. Let's look at some examples. Now example 1 says pentagons J, K, L, M, N and S, T, U, V, W are similar. So now we need to write the correct corresponding sides. So JK divided by ST is similar to KL divided by TU, which is similar to LM over UV, and NM over WV is similar to JN over SW. That's how we would write that these two polygons are similar. Now, let's actually do the math. So it says, decide whether the figures are similar. Now remember, the sides and the angles have to be congruent. So let's see about their angles. Angle Y is congruent to angle R, Z is congruent to S, W is congruent to P, and X is congruent to Q. So their angles are all the same, but now let's see if all of their sides are in proportion. So we're going to do XY over QR. Now XY is 6 and QR is 4. So 6 over 4. Now we're going to go ahead and do YZ over RX. So 9 over 6 is similar to 12 over 8. And last, 15 over 10. So what we're going to do now is we actually need to reduce these. So we can divide 6 by 2 and 4 by 2, which gives us 3 halves. 9 divided by 3 is 3, 6 over 3 is 2. We can reduce 12 and 8 to 3 halves and 15 over 10 to 3 halves. So they all have the same proportions, all of their angles are congruent, therefore these two polygons are congruent. Now remember, I did not say that their sides were congruent. I said that their proportions were congruent, and that makes these two polygons similar. Now let's look at example 3. Now it says, decide whether the figures are similar. If they are, we need to write the similar statement. Now look here. This angle N up here, or down here, needs to be congruent to this N up here. So what we're actually going to do is we're going to redraw this. So we're going to redraw this big one to match this smaller one here, okay? So I went ahead and I redrew it, and N is actually on the top because N is congruent to P. So we redrew it to N, L, M, and N and L, look over here, N and L is 12, M and L is 10.5, and then last M and N is 18. So let's write our proportions out. So PR is going to need to be similar to NM. So that's 18 over 12. Then we've got 12 over 4. So we went ahead and wrote 12 over 4, and we have 9 over 10.5. Now, if you notice, these, even if we reduce them, they're not going to be similar. Therefore, these triangles are not similar. Let's go down here to these polygons down here. It says quadrilateral JKLM is similar to quadrilateral PQRS. Now it tells us that they're similar, but we want to find what is the scale factor. So what we're going to do is we're going to write the proportion. So JK divided by QP, so 10 over Z, and then we've got 15 over 6. So now what we're going to do is we're actually going to find what is our scale factor. So 15, we're going to reduce these down. So 3 goes into both 15 and 3. So we're going to divide 15 by 3, which is 5, and 6 divided by 3, which is 2. So our scale factor is actually 5 halves. So our scale factor is 5 over 2. Now let's look at example 5. It says parallelogram ABCD is similar to parallelogram GB, E, and F. So it says find the value of y. So what is y? So here we've got 15 over 24, so 15 over 24, and then we've got 12 over y. So 15 over 24 equals 12 over y. So go ahead and figure that one out. Now let's look at example 6. Example 6 says UVW, so UVW is similar to YXW. So we want to see here, it says find the scale factor and find the value of A. So UV is going to match up to YX, and then VW is going to match up to XW. So VW is going to match up with XW. So our scale factor is 5 over 6. So 5 over 6. But now they want us to find the value of A. So 5 over 6 is going to equal A over 12. Now all we're going to do is we're going to cross multiply. So 6 times A, or 60, so 12 times 5 is 60, which equals 6 times A. You're just going to divide 6 by both sides, and your A is equal to 10. Okay? And that's how you figure out if two polygons are similar.